Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Let's all say Alhamdulillah. 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 Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. We are tonight, according to the specifications of the calendar and our impressions of the amelioration of the moon and its brightness, we could determine that tonight is the night called Sha'b al-Qadr or Nisfu Sha'ban. The Holy Prophet Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has time and again admonished us and reminded us about 3 specific months that he referred to, that there are 3 months. One is Rajab and the other is Sha'ban and the other one is Ramadan. Can I have the Shaykh, the captain, come over here and give me that chair, please. I need to go take over your chair. Shukran. You take over my place. Thank you very much. I feel like a king now. The Holy Prophet Muhammad is talking about 3 important months, namely Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan. Can we say Rajab? Rajab. Sha'ban. Ramadan. Rajab is supposed to be the month in which the Holy Prophet Muhammad said, or was said to have performed the Isra wal Mi'raj. Is that right? Hello?
Yeah.
Why do you think that Rajab is so important before we come to Sha'ban and even touch a little bit on Ramadan? I want us to consider this as not you coming to listen to some kind of Maulana or Shaykh, but to share all together collectively, so that when you share collectively like you're in the class, the importance of tonight becomes very beneficial to you, and not only to me. You understand me?
Yes.
There is a great blessing tonight that if I tell you, and I'm going to tell you of course, or share with you the significance of it, and a special prayer that we ought to do tonight, which was done by many, including all the Sahaba. They did it. How many of us here are strong enough to do 100 rakats tonight? I see one hand up, another hand up, another hand up. That means after the sisters, I'm very sorry. They got a lot of responsibilities. They can't do 100 rakats. So these young men sitting all over here, including young men sitting on top of the table, none of them is strong enough to perform 100 rakats tonight. Hello? Including these young sisters. Is there anyone among the sisters who would like to do 100 rakats tonight? And then I can share with you what I got. Any sister? Don't feel shy. This is about Allah. It is about the resurrection, about your life between you and God, not with me, not with nobody else, but with you and your Creator. And you're doing it for yourself. Is that right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
How many sisters would like to do 100 rakats tonight? If your husband will leave them alone. I see 1 hand, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 hands. Allahu Akbar. Good. I'm glad that there are many sisters than men. There are 4 sisters to 3 men. Men are so scared about Salah. Here we go. Why is the month of Rajab so important to us? Come on, I don't want to start preaching. The preaching will come. But I want to see the level of the people and the understanding that we all could have all together. Why is Rajab so important, and Allah considers it His own month? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Rajab, Allah said, belongs to Him and Him alone. And from Rajab, we came to today is the 14th, right? Tomorrow will be 15th, is that right? Hello? So, we are 14 days away from Rajab. Why is Rajab so important to Allah? Younger parents, if you have to solicit a help from your daddy, you can go ahead. And younger sisters, you can also ask mom. Hello? Why is Rajab so important to Allah? You know, whatsoever is so important to Allah should be so important to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is that right? Yes. And whatsoever is important to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam should be important to us. Is that right? Yes. Hello? Yes. What was the importance, the significance of Rajab? Now, is there somebody who will tell me? Shaykh Ibrahim, Shaykh Yunus, Shaykh Rafiq, Maulana Adnan, Ihsan, Sayyid Tahir, Saifullah, including these guys at the high table. Should we leave them out? Should we leave them out? Okay. Captain Qasim, Khalid Ajmaeen, Dr. Tahir. I'm afraid there are a lot of even most important sisters among them that I don't know their names. Sisters? Huh? Yeah. Sayyid Yunus, Sayyid Yasin said it's because of Isra wal Mi'raj. That's why it is important. How many of us agree? Raise your hands. I got 1 sister, 2 sisters, 3 sisters, 4, 5, 6, 7 sisters, 8 sisters, brothers 1, Khatim, your name? Huh? Suhail, Rafiq, Shaykh Ibrahim, your brother, your name? Huh? Hanis, Isa, Nabil, Salim, huh? Zulhaimin, Saifullah, Adnan. I want to make sure that your name is written on Lahil Mahfuz. So you mention your name. Huh? There's another one. Now because he had Lahil Mahfuz, he raised his hand up. Yes. Sisters, I am a very bashful man. I'm a young man. So sometimes I feel my eyes should keep on this side. But when you raise your hands, I would like to mention your name so that your name should also be mentioned in Lahil Mahfuz. For Allah, when He speaks, He says, Innal Muslimina wal Muslimat. Is that right? Wal Mu'minina wal mu'minat. Is that right? Do you want to be denied your right? Okay. So don't shy away. This is a class. Inshallah. It is not come and sit in the auditorium and listen to my big mouth. No way. Isra wal Mi'raj. What is significant about Isra wal Mi'raj? Hello? Huh? My dear sister, do you have a cordless phone? A cordless mic? my beloved sister, please kindly come to the mic and speak for the sisters. Come on. Don't worry. Come on. We're doing this for the sake of Allah. Give her a big round of applause. I want sisters who are courageous to stand for themselves and in the name of Allah. Your sister tells us why it is important. What is the significance of Isra and Mi'raj?
The significance of Isra and Mi'raj is that it's the first time the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was brought to the highest of heaven to receive revelation about the Salah, the 5 times Salah. And it was also then that we realized how merciful Allah has been for us living, because 5 times was not the original ordainment, it was more. And then after consultation with all the other prophets, it became reduced to 5 times, which many of us are still struggling with also.
Give a big round of applause. Sister, what's your name?
My name is Halima.
Halima Kesadia. Allah bless you.
And nice to have you around.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please give her a real big round of applause. Now, if the Maulanas will say nothing, the sisters who are Shaykhs will say something. Sister, what you said is truly and sincerely and honestly the significance about Isra wal Mi'raj. Apart from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ascending and migrating and ascending to the heavens to be in the presence of Allah, it is then and thereafter that we receive the Salah. And so when we receive the Salah, that gave us the special, peculiar identity from being non-Muslims. Muslims away from being non-Muslims. By the Salat, we are identified as what? Muslims. By the Salat, that gave us the hope and the blessing to have to build masajids. Is that right? When you see a masjid, what do you remember? Hello? You remember Salat. And when you come to perform Salat, what do you remember? Hello? Sisters, you're very quiet. It's as if you don't exist. Please, here, this time is for us here. And nobody should be quiet. Even if you can say that they make some noise. When you perform Salah, you're supposed to remember Allah. Is that right? Yes. Okay, now let's go to the story. It was sometime in Rajab that Almighty God Allah said, as it's written in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Isra, He said, Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan. Allahu Akbar. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan من المسجد الحرام إلى مسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله. Allah praises Himself. There are so many places in the Quran, from Surah Al-Fatiha and Surah Al-Nas, that Allah talks about his majesty and glory, but he didn't praise himself so much with anything or nothing so importantly, so enthusiastically, like the journey he performed with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah glorified himself, commended himself, lauded himself, exalted and praised his majesty and glory, and say, come on after me, Subhanallah. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام Sisters, why? من المسجد الحرام إلى مسجد الأقصى الحمد لله. So I'm part of the fever. When you're in the mosque, there's another one coming through the telephone. I don't know who invented this kind of telephone. So we now have it, I have it in the masjid all the time. Now I'm not going to touch it no more. Subhanallah, Allah exalts himself, his position, his grandeur, his majesty, his glory, his munificence. He keeps on glorifying himself that he is Allah, the Lord of omnipotence, the Lord of omniscience, who exalts himself for traveling with his servant Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Should Allah talk about himself and praise himself for traveling with his slave? Hello? Have you ever had a master praising himself for traveling with his slave? No. Hello? No. Then this is a very, very special slave. Hello? Yes. But guess what? Abd is not slave. Do you know that? Abd is not a slave. Abid is a slave. Abd is a servant who, when Allah says, stand up, he's up. Sit. Up. Sit. Like the military commands, the commander commands the military, is that right? They turn wheresoever he says, is that right? Yes. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is way incompatible to that. Allah created the nature of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be the most perfect of all creations. Did you hear me? Yes. Allah created the essence of the Holy Prophet Muhammad and his nature and characteristic to be the most perfect of all Allah's creations. For he is the very first creation that Allah has ever created. Are you alive? Yes. He is the very first creation that Allah has created when He, Allah, said, Kuntu kanzan makhfiyan lan u'raf. I, Allah, have been an unknown treasure. Yet, there is no heaven, no earth, no throne, no this, nothing in existence. Are you with me? Yes. فَأَحْبَبْتُ أَنْ أُعْرَفَ. Now say فَأَحْبَبْتُ. Again? فَأَحْبَبْتُ أَنْ أُعْرَفَ. And I, Allah, love to be known. فَخَلَقْتُ الْخَلْقَ. And I created a creation. And I created a creation. And one of the most profound Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called Jabir, Hadrat Jabir, Karamallahu wajhahu wa anna, he came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam before everybody. And he said, "O Messenger of Allah, I ask you for the sake of the dignity and honor of my mama, I want you to tell me, what is it that Allah created first in the entire creation when He decided He wants to create creation?" And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he smiled with his broad smile, reflecting His beauty and splendor on the day Allah created him. He said, أول ما خلقه الله نور نبيك نور نبيك. The first thing that Allah created, the first thing that Allah created when there was no heaven, no earth, nothing, and no angels, nothing. The first thing Allah created is the nur of your Prophet, the light of your Prophet. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin adada man salla alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin عدد من صلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه. The first thing Allah created is the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was created perfect, complete, and Allah started dividing His light to create all other creations, to create the Al-Arsh, to create the Kursi, to create the angels, to create the Jannah, to create the hair as well, to create 8 heavens, 7 heavens, up and 7 heavens down, and everything, including yourself and myself. We all are from whose light? We all are from whose light? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So, Allah decided, now that He has formed the real form of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to invite him back to come to His own eternal essence, to enjoy the beauty that He enjoyed when that nur was created and when He was glorifying Allah trillions of years before creation was created. And Allah took him on the way. Listen to this. There's going to be puzzle. You're going to get your pen and paper. Allah took him, and from Mecca all the way down to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. Are you with me? Yeah. Okay, in Jerusalem, you know very well that when human beings die, they never come back. Is that right? Yes. Hello? Yes. Until resurrection day. Is that right? Yes. But because of the glory, honor, and the prestige of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his exalted state position, magnanimous position, and grandeur in the presence of Allah, what did Allah do? Allah brought back the lives of all the prophets and messengers to line in their own physical forms, to line up in Masjid al-Aqsa. for him to lead them prayer. Is that right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
What was the prayer he led them? Come on.
Fajr.
Sayyid Yasin said, it's Fajr. Who else supports the Fajr? I see the hands of Hatim. And you? Nabil. Who else? Saifullah. Who else? Sayyid Rafiq. So he led Salatul Fajr. Is that right? Hello? Okay. We all agree. Do you all agree? Yes. Sisters, do you agree? Yes. You are in big trouble. Now I got you. Before the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left, embarked on the migration and ascension, was there any salat being performed by him and the Sahaba?
No.
Huh?
No.
Somebody says no. What do you say, sisters? Brothers? Lord have mercy. We don't know our history. Was the salat being performed before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ascended to heaven?
No.
Sisters? Okay, those who said yes, raise your hands up. Yes, I'm with you. I'm sorry I told you I'm with you. Okay, come on. I'm with you. Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sister, don't be afraid. Can't you raise your hand? Are you not sure? Good. Brothers, how many of us believe that they were performing salah before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ascended to heaven? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got a big one here, right on top of the podium. Dr. Tahir. Dr. Tahir. Okay, now I want the sisters that raise your hand. Please raise your hands up. If you know that he was performing salat before he went. Sister, please, what's your name? Did you raise your hand? Did you raise your hand? What's your name, please? Rabia. Rabia? Okay, Rabia. What salat were they performing? Huh? You don't know? Good. What salat, Dr. Tahir? What salat was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba praying then? You got a mic right in front of you. You have no idea? But you said they were performing salat. Hello? Were they performing salat?
No.
Those of you who said yes, do you now agree they were performing salat? He was performing salat with the Sahaba before he ascended to heaven? Hello? And now Hatim, even Brother Hatim, Muhammad Hatim says no. Okay, there was no salat. But then which salat did he lead that we say Salatul Fajr? Isn't it possible? Hello?
Yes.
But then the salat was not formulated for us, even though there were salat before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, there were salat before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but those salat had not been prescribed for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see the difference? All other Sahaba, all other prophets and messengers had the salat. They knew the salat. They had their own what? Salat. And likewise, did they also have their own Ramadan? Did you know that?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
They were also fasting in the month of Ramadan. Did you know that?
Yes.
Sisters, I think you just came to have watch a movie and don't say nothing. No, don't do that. I want to bring you and inspire you to your rightful place. No Maulana will come to speak to you ever. Speaking to the congregation and ask sisters questions. Don't be scared. I'm not a Maulana. Huh? You are listening. But you just listening, you have to also say something. Now here we go. There was Salat. And there were Ramadan being performed. We are not the only people fasting in the month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, all you who are to faith. Fasting has been prescribed unto you as it has been prescribed for those generations of generations of generations before you. Is that right? But before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made that ascension, were the Sahaba fasted in the month of Ramadan? Hello?
No.
No. They were not. Until we got one. First and foremost, the Salat. And this is how the Salat came. Well, Rasulullah, and guess what? There is a beautiful story to tell. When Allah took him by virtue of the angel Jibreel, are you with me?
Yes.
They went beyond the seventh heaven and still going and going, and they came to a point where, almost to a point where Hadrat Jibreel cannot move an inch. But just before then, there was an exchange of discussion between the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see in the Quran, in Surah Al-Najm, Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَىٰ. Are you with me?
Yes.
وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَىٰ مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَىٰ I don't want to recite the Quran too long and it will take a whole lot of time. I want to make sure that the sisters have the chance to reach home before their husbands will beat the hell out of them. So here we go. What is the meaning of وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَىٰ? By the star when it sets, or by the star when it rises. What is the meaning of that? Anyone from among the sisters can help? The brothers are becoming, they're losing the ground. Maybe because of the fan or the strength of the air condition. You know, I'm from the jungles of Africa, and to be in this fully air-conditioned masjid is absolutely unimaginable. You can only have that in the presidential suite, or the president's office, or in the bank. Okay, here we go. What is the meaning of وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَىٰ? Yes, Brother Isa. By that star, when it's set. Have you ever reflected on the meaning of that? Hello, sisters? Where is Mrs. Tahir? Our beloved sister Sahila, right? Suhana. Our beloved sister Suhana, where is she? Oh, there she is. Allahu Akbar. Sister Sohana, I want you to talk to me. What does that mean? Oh, now you hand it over to Dr. Tyre. Dr. Tyre, over to you. Okay. Now, Sister Sohana, I'll tell you, we were gossiping about it yesterday. I think at home you feel a little bit more secure. But the mosque is too big. No problem. But this is where you have, because this is the house of Allah. It belongs to all of us. Okay. Now here we go. In the exchanges that came between the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the angel Jibreel, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, me and you, who's older? And Hadrah Jibreel said, I am older than you. So okay, prove it. And Hadrah Jibreel said, listen and be very grateful to Allah for who you are and having a messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Imam al-Mursalin wa Khatam al-Nabiyyin, as your prophet. He says, prove it. And Hadrah Jibreel said, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Habibullah, there is certain star that appears once after 70,000 years. Not 70,000 of this worldly counting. Hello? Because they're not talking about the world counting. The realms where they were, what they're talking about that is where Allah means that one day in His sight is 50,000 years in our own one reckoning. But Hadrah Jibreel was talking about 50 cosmic, 70,000 cosmic years, not mundane, not earthly counted. Are you with me? Yes. And he said, I saw that star appear 70,000 times. It only comes out once after 70,000 years, and I have seen it 70,000 times. Whoa! That's quite a long time. Is that right? Yes. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, if you see that star, can you recognize it? And he puzzled for a moment, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, I am that star. Sallu ala Nabi al-Kareem. Sallu ala Nabi al-Kareem. You say sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. I am that star. And as a result, when Allah was speaking in the Quran, He says, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Ya Rasulullah. By you, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, you symbolizing that star, what it says. Ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma ghawwa. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam will never be misled or go astray. Never. Everything else can be misled and go astray, but not Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. He is the nearly perfect in the nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how Allah created him. In his nature, in all characteristics, don't want to go to the point where La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Sisters, brothers, we need to learn. We need to know who are we and why did Allah make us and where are we going. We need to know who is our prophet, who is this Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we have to mention him in our salah and be fond of him. We have to attain his love. And Allah said, I swear, Allah, I swear by you, Prophet Muhammad, that star, when it sets, when he rises. Ma dalla sahibukum wa ma gawa. Your companion being amongst you people of the world, is not touched by a state of amnesia, and neither is he overwhelmed with falsehood or gone astray. Never! Allah swears for Prophet Muhammad. Can you imagine Allah swearing for defending his prophet? Does Allah need to swear by anything? So the journey continued of getting there, and all of a sudden, to cut the long story short, not even 1 year would be enough to explain this. Although it appeared to be a moment, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes in the presence of Allah. But before he got there, he has to go through 70,000 curtains. 70,000 curtains. And the journey between one curtain to another, that is veiled, is a journey of 1,000 cosmic years. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to go through this. And then he came to where he could hear the qalam, the divine pen, writing the actions and deeds of each and every one. The thoughts, the actions, the speech, everything is being written down completely as the computer marks everything that is going on. That is nothing. As he was going, he could see some angels who come. They bow down in ruku like this and never ever will get up. All this making sujood and never ever to get up. Other angels come, go moving, saying salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as they go, never again to come back, and likewise others coming, saying salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه. الله أكبر يا رسول الله. And then on and on and on he came until he appears in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam starting to see his non-existence himself. Allah welcoming his beloved. Travel with his beloved and welcoming his beloved. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could see the nur throughout his cognitive faculties and beyond, and he could not see himself except the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hello? When nur comes to its source, could it exist anymore? Hello? No. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was made to see the beauty of Allah. And to this point, Shaykhuna Barhalanyas, my teacher, my guide, my murshid, radiallahu ta'ala anhu wa nabi, he says, Ra'a rabbahu bi'aynin wa suratin wa kullu siwa hadha wara'a wara'i. وراء ورائي. He saw his Lord, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He saw his Lord, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He saw his Lord with his eyes and all forms. As Allah says, فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. And he, Allah, revealed to his servant what he, Allah, did what? Revealed. مَا ذَاغَ الْبَصَرُ. His eyes was never confused nor deviated from the beauty, the splendor, the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then right at that particular moment, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started saying, At-tahiyatu lillah. Come on. At-tahiyatu lillah. At-tayyibatu salawatu lillah. Allahu Akbar. There are some of us who will say, honestly, this is what the detail what he said. At-tahiyatu lillah, az-zakiyatu lillah, at-tayyibatu salawatu lillah. And then Allah, he said, all at-tahiyatu lillah, all salutations, all glorifications, all felicitations, all venerations, and all exaltations belongs to Almighty God Allah. All purifications, all sanctifications, all pleasant, pleasing, and all joy belongs to who? Allah. Belongs to who? Allah. Belongs to who? Allah. All existence belongs to who? Allah. All honor belongs to who? Allah. Glorify Allah. And Allah feeling the glorifications of His self. Allah so pleased for Himself, by Himself, with Himself. And then He said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, He says, Assalamu alayka. He said what? Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. Allah's name is what? As-salam. Is that right? Yes. Allah's name is what? As-salam. And Allah says, Assalamu alayka. Allah, everything that makes my nature of peace, all be for you. All be upon you. All be with you. Say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I don't think you are enjoying what I'm enjoying in my heart and soul. I feel like I should go crazy. And you can call me mentally deranged and I feel good. Allah says, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyi. At that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is above any reproach. He is no more a slave. Because he's having a talk that no king, no power can get except Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu, when Allah says, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyi, peace be unto you, O my prophet. And he said, Assalam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by nature is never miserly. Hello? Yes. And he says, this peace that I get, Assalamu alayna. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. Come on with me, say, Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. His peace come upon us and upon the righteous and purified servants of Allah. Who are they? They are the people who will sit down all the time after Salah and they will say, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah al-Azim alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, and cleaning themselves by Allah's words of istighfar, seeking for forgiveness. And then they will be doing salawat unto Prophet Muhammad. For there are those who, when they do salawat one time, Allah does it 10 times for them, according to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they come on and say, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, abdika wa nabiyyik, an-nabiy al-ummi, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Others say, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, wa ala alihi Sayyidina Muhammad wa sallam. And others say, اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. When you get the tape, they will show you the transcriptions in English. I want to quickly come to Ihsan and conclude, and give me more time to ask me, to interrogate me. Here we go. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmati wa barakati. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started his shahada. Hello? Yes. Because he is seeing, he's perceiving with all his cognitive faculties. He says, Ashhadu, I see, I perceive, I am exceedingly conscious of the presence of my Creator. So come on, let's all raise our hands. Come on! Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taking his shahada, and he said, what? Come on after me. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu. Oh, let's go back again. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And Allah also responded, wa ashhadu annaka abdi wa rasuli. I bear witness, I declare, I Allah. Do I need to declare? But for you, Prophet Muhammad, my Habibi, my beloved, I Allah, I declare from my majesty and glory that you, Muhammad, you are my prophet, my messenger, my beloved. And anybody who says one word, after he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and says, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, I, Allah, I swear, he is forgiven forever and ever.
Ameen.
And he will see me. Is that not a great blessing? Is that not a great blessing?
Yes.
Is that not a great blessing?
Yes.
Do we deserve it?
Yes.
Do we deserve it? Allah being so excited about his prophet, his messenger, his died. You have the one you call your sweetheart, sugar honey bunch. Is that right? Hello?
Yeah.
Don't you have the one you call, hello, my sweetie, my sugar pie? You sing sugar pie, honey bunch. You know I love you, baby. Forget about it. We don't have time for that. We say, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin adada man salla alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina محمد عدد من صلى عليه. Oh Allah, shower all your benedictions, all your felicitations, all your salutations upon who? Our Sayyidina Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If I die today, I feel good. Because my heart, oh Allah, you have purified my heart for the love I don't deserve. The love of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You created me and you chose me to be a Muslim when I don't deserve. You gave me life when I don't deserve. And you gave me the knowledge about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when I don't deserve. And you made me to love him when I don't deserve. And you made me to be among those who are doing salawat for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can I be? How much grateful can I be? Let us all say Alhamdulillah. 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 Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Beloved family, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّكَ عَبْدِي وَنَبِيِّي. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّكَ عَبْدِي وَنَبِيِّي وَرَسُولُهُ. Allah himself started doing salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hello? Yes. Hello? Yes. Hello? Yes. If you don't do salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, forget about it. Who are you? You are nothing compared to nothing. He doesn't need it, does he? The Almighty God, Allah, the Lord, created, cherished, nourished, and sustained the whole universe. Say salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't let nobody deny you that. Are you going to let anybody deny you that? No. To join with others and say salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For Allah says in the Quran al-Karim, He says what? Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. He, Allah, and all His angels have nothing to do but to do what? Salawat unto who? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya ayyuhan nabi, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Indeed, Allah saw us speaking. Indeed, and all my angels do salawat, salutations unto who? Unceasingly, constantly upon the Prophet, the beloved Prophet. And Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you in whose hearts is established already, in your heart is established Iman. Sallu alayhi. You should. Allah orders you to do what? He says to do salawat unto Him constantly. Sallu. Is it a command or not? Yes. Is it a command or not? Yes. Do we have time to be singing? What you want, you know I got it. What you need, you know I do have time for that. Hello? Hello? Yes. My sisters will beat the hell out of me. I gotta get ready to get out of Singapore. No! Don't sing no song for nobody. When you got to do that, remember Allah. When you got to do that, remember your obligation to say salawat. Unto who? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And likewise you, me and you, we love to get those songs, romantic songs. Wallahi, I want you to let I want to let her hear how much I love her. And I got everything that I got all for her. How many speak Urdu here? There's no Urdu speaking or understanding here in Singapore. How many love soul music? Soul songs, pop songs. Be honest, I see someone say Allah. I see another one in the light green. The sisters plenty. I'm not going to say they don't even know what to say yet. And rap music, oh, uncomfortable. It is almost the whole house. But how many of us have time to listen to salawat or to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How many of us have time to listen to the sheet of all zikrs? How many of us have time to sit in the circle of zikrs? How many of us? We deny each other from glorifying Allah. We want to be glorified. I want my woman to do what I tell her to do. That's what she must do. Layla! Yes? Didn't I tell you to do this? I'm sorry, I was a little bit busy taking care of the baby. What are you talking about? I told you to do this. You don't even care about your baby being cared for. You want to be cared for. Is that right? Hello, brothers?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Am I speaking for myself only? Start your confession. That's how we are. We want to be masters and lords over our wives. Is that true? Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
See, they see that. I'm saying the truth, but I can say no. Very quiet. And some of you sisters, I'm sorry. You are so beautiful. You want a queen. You gotta treat me like a queen. Oh, what's your hair? There are some of us too. You know, it all depends upon who is stronger. My mama. Hello? I think I've showed you this before. When I was here, the last time I was here last year at the Tandoori restaurant. Tandoori, oh my sister, only one sister. Give her a big round of applause. And the brothers, there is one or two brothers who were there. Give them a big round of applause too. Can a sister spare me just one star if you got extra? But if you don't have extra, leave it alone. I don't want no trouble. Some of the men who have some scarf around. You see, when my mama comes to my daddy and tells him, I want money to go to the market. And by then, if the temperature, or how to call it, the temperature comes low. You understand what I mean by the temperature, is that right? Hello, sisters, is that right? They don't understand. Yes. They told the daughters to say yes, they ain't going to say nothing. The temperature means daddy's pocket is becoming lighter. And it seems there is no any other alternative. Yeah, I got some scalp here. Allahu Akbar. Very good. This is big enough. My mama will always come looking like Mother Mary. When things are going good. And then when she comes, when you sing for her, she look exactly like Mother Mary's picture. Sometimes in time of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me and singing words of wisdom. Let it be, 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 let it be now. now, there won't be an answer. Let it be, let it be. It's all right, and my daddy will be feeling good. But when the temperature goes low, it goes low, there is a different act. Then the how do you call it? The veil, which is all the time wrapped all over, like Mother Sahana. Now all of a sudden it comes out down a little bit, goes back a little bit. That means there is some gradual provocation going on. And then, when it comes to, when it's getting in the danger zone completely, my mother's veil comes all the way from her head around her neck. That means she's getting ready to be the royal road, the skin of cowboys. But when it goes down and when she comes and asks, all of these I know, like Muhammad Hatim. I'm sitting with my daddy and learning my lessons, so I see the signs, I see the language. When the thing is completely empty, then the scarf, the veil has come all the way from the head, now it has turned into a belt. I said, give me that money right now! Sisters, am I speaking for you too? Or all I could get is some laughter? Sisters, yes, they said, that's what we can say. Just say it for us. Because they're here, if we say anything, we're going to get our head knocked when we go back home. So let's keep quiet. Okay, yeah, that is life. But that is nature, isn't it? Okay. We shouldn't have too much time for us when we don't have too much time for ourselves. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wal tanzur nafsun ma qaddamat lighadin wattaqullaha. O ye who have faith in Allah, or be mindful of your duty to Allah, be conscious of Allah, and let every soul look forward to what he or she has set forth to accomplish in the morrow. Are you with me? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed the salat in the presence of Allah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after the long story, here is gift for you and your ummah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the gift. And it was what gift? There is a sister who stood here first. What is her name? Was she Halima? Yes. The second one is Halima. Sister who stood here, are you alive? Yeah, what's your name, please? Halima. Halima the Sadiya. Halima the prosperous. She said it was in the Mi'raj, Isra or Mi'raj, that we receive our salat. Is that right? And it is not the original thing that Allah gave us. Is that right, Sister Halima? Okay, you are in trouble. You know, we all, not only you. Allah gives a gift of 50 rakats. Is that right? Yes. To be given to who? To be given to, he gave it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is that right? Yes. To be given to his ummah. Is that right? Yes. And then there is the saying that when he was coming back to his ummah, this time, was he with Allah or not? Because he went with Allah. Is that right? Yes. And he's supposed to come back with who? By himself? Hello? Can you travel with Allah too and fro you are left alone? Shaykh Ibrahim, are you still coughing? Can he be left to come back alone? No, is that right? Sister Halima, can the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam be left alone to come back by himself? after he went with Allah? Huh? What did he say? She said no, right? Fantastic. No. I agree with you. No. He has to come back with his master. Allah will never leave him for a moment. Is that right? Then it is said that on the way back, this is where I would like you to take your pen, and then I take 5 minutes, oh no, 2 minutes time out. He was given this salat. On the way back, it was said that he met Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. And Nabi Musa told him to go back to Allah and ask him for reduction. Is that right? Yes. Now, didn't Allah know that Musa needed, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Umar needed more reduction? He didn't know what the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could handle. Prophet Muhammad didn't know. Musa is the one who knows. Give me 2 minutes. Time out. Think about it and give me answer. Allah and Nabi Musa, Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Who knows better? Hello? Who knows better than Umar? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah doesn't know better, right? Sister Sahana, at the time says, between Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Nabi Musa, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows better his ummah, even than Allah. Do you agree with him?
No.
Huh?
No.
Oh, she said yes.
No, not better than Allah, but better than Musa.
He said no better than Allah, but better than Musa. Okay. Do you accept? Hello?
Yes.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows better than Musa his own ummah. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, Sister Halima, is it true that Nabi Musa asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask for reduction of the salah, as we said earlier? The sister, she spoke in good English here, but right now she doesn't understand English no more. She speaks Malay. Huh? I'll repeat the question again, Sister Halima. Earlier on, you gave us the reason, the significance of the Isra wal Mi'raj. That's because we receive Salat. Is that right? Is that right? Fantastic. And you said that it's not even the original gift that we got, but it should have been more. Is that what you said? Yes. Okay, good. So now I said that the original gift Allah gave us is 50 salat. Is that right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
And then when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had met his creator and was coming back, he met Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, who told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to go back to Allah and ask for reduction because his ummah cannot handle all of it. Is that right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
So my question is, didn't Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself know what his ummah can do and cannot do? Does he need Musa to tell him? At the time Allah gave him the gift, didn't Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam know that his ummah cannot handle it? If that is what Musa's got to say, is Musa more intelligent than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So then, how are you going to handle that? Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wasalam telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to go back to Allah and ask him to reduce the gift, but people cannot handle the gift. Do you think that is possible? the sisters, Allah has given you the best of heart, the cleanest heart, the most esteemed and honorable heart. And that's why Allah says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, paradise lies at the feet of the mother. Now I ask you, the Holy Allah and His Messenger Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Musa, who knows better the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And would Nabi Musa even dare tell Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to go back to Allah to reduce the gift that Allah has already given to him to give, and he accepted? Hello? He accepted the gift and was going back to his ummah. Why would he then come back to Allah thinking about what Moses said? And we understand that he did so 9 times. He comes, Moses said, go back again. He comes back, Moses said, go back again. Could have that been possible? Do you have anything to say? Now I'm concluding. This is the point where the question of Ihsan comes in. Hello? Yes. Without the knowledge of Ihsan, you will never come to the answer. I had intended to give the answer today, but I ain't going to give it. I'll keep some people hanging. As Shaykh Ibrahim said, he always gets to be hanging. Oh. Sister Halima, are you reflecting over the question? Okay. Sisters, brothers, take my emails. Or if I'm still around, you don't need the email. I'm still around, and this is my chief post and commander-in-chief, my managing director, and he's also CEO, the chief executive officer of my movement. And I was supposed to go back on the 19th, and luckily he has extended it to 27th. Is that right? 28. Fantastic. The dates keep on being added. Okay, if you want, I think you should call Saifuddin or Adnan or Dr. Khalid or Dr. Tahir here, or Dr. Tahir, and ask them if you have any question or answer pertaining to that, an explanation, and they can put you through to me. I don't know my telephone number, so I don't know. I can't tell you. It was given to me by Darul Arqam, and I don't know, I've not memorized the number, so I cannot give you. Or if you go on the Facebook, don't go on the notebook. Go on the Facebook. If you don't see my very ugly face, then go to 786 at Ahmed Tijani. Don't put Shaykh. Yes, ma'am.
Your friend request is full. You try.
Sister, what's your name? What's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana. Yes. Yes. Sister Ariana, I told you my Facebook is full. Now, not even knows it's left. I told a brother to help me. I think it is safe within all. I understand Nabil is a master of computer. Is that right?
Inshallah.
I have to open a new Facebook, and this time it is going to be Ihsan book. We need to learn about. Okay, so leave the Facebook for now. You can still, if you can be my friend, just do the message. Is that possible? Hello? When you press my Facebook name, it will bring my Facebook. You can't be the friend, but put the message. Huh? Yes, that is possible. And I see that you don't have to be my friend. Soon, I will remove all other non-Muslim friends. Please, I'm serious. It is not that I've made a big mistake. Who will help me tomorrow? We work on it. Help me to remove the non-Muslim. You going to help me? Oh, there's another one here. To remove them. There are some crazy people, I don't even know them. They just want you to be my friend, and then I say yes, confirm. Now I want to disconfirm all of them, and I want my brethren from Singapore, only Singaporeans will be accepted. If you know you are not Singaporean here, don't Facebook me. Now, Ihsan is what I had wanted to talk about. It's about the knowledge of self pertaining to the knowledge of Allah. Hello? The knowledge of self pertaining to the knowledge of Allah, which Rasulullah spoke about. We start from the level of Islam. Is that right? Hello? Yeah. And then we go to Iman. Is that right? Yeah. And then we go to Ihsan. Is that right? Yeah. How many of us have reached the level of Iman? I'm not going to give you no trouble. Don't worry. That means we are not working hard. We need to work hard to reach the level of Iman. And from the level of Iman, then we go to the level of Ihsan. Then if we have not reached the level of Iman, why should I worry to talk about Ihsan? Hello? Do you agree with me? Ihsan is a very, very explosive, divinely inspiring, exalting, and uplifting topic. We can talk about it, but it's the knowledge that comes from the heart to heart. It is about it that Rasulullah says, Al-Ihsan an ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tarah. Please give me a second to drink some water. Do you permit me? I've never done that before, but I feel slightly dehydrated. Sorry, I shouldn't drink for you to see. Allah, alhamdulillah. The water tastes good. Now I think I'm more charged. So, Al-Ihsan an ta'bud Allah ka'annaka Tara. Ihsan is to serve Allah as though you see Him. Is that right? Yes. Don't we want to know our Creator? Hello? Yes. Don't we want to serve Him as though we see Him? Yes, yes we do. Ihsan it is. It starts with practicing a litany of zikr. Purifying your heart, your soul. In the level of Ihsan, you promise you will never commit sin. Hello? Yeah. You are going to keep yourself steadfast, constantly immersed and saturated in seeking for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from your sin. But even then, you will not be free from committing sins. But Allah keeps on purifying you. And He says, and then through the zikr that you'll be performing constantly, He says, Ala bi zikrillahi tatma'innal qulub. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba, Jaddidu imanakum. Keep on renewing, purifying your iman. And the Sahaba said, well, how can we renew our iman that we thought we have it firmly rooted and based? He says, أَكْثِرُوا مِنْ قَوْلِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Do increase from the saying of what? La ilaha illa. Please say it. La ilaha illallah. Again. La ilaha illallah. And again. La ilaha illallah. And we keep on saying La ilaha illallah until we come to a point. There are muraqabat, degree after degree, level after level, step after step, stage after stage. You are making your move with your salat, with your sunnah, with your istighfar, with your salawat ala nabi, with La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illa, come on, La ilaha illa, come on, La ilaha illa, until you really come to a point where you yourself, you realize perceive yourself than what you know yourself to be now. You will see yourself, perceive yourself, be conscious of yourself from a different perspective. And that is when the light of the divine munificence will start appearing. And then, ultimately, Allah will make you the one that used to be Layla, the one that used to be Majnun will cease to exist. Majnun will cease to exist, and Layla will cease to exist. And then, that is when you hear, like I composed this song concerning my journey to Allah. I said, the world is, I said, in love, no longer you and I exist, for the self has passed away in the middle of it. Now will I draw aside the veil from love. Then I said, the world is a living place for peace and love. And without peace and love, the world remains remote. Eternal wisdom made all things in peace and love. He taught us how to live, love and peace to find. Almighty God, Allah taught us how to live and love and peace to find. So we want peace and love. Right now, what is peace? Allah. What is love? Rasulullah. You hear this? So we want peace, that is Allah. And we want love, Allah is As-Salam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is what? Habib. Is that right? But those worldly people think I'm thinking about worldly things. No, I don't have no time for that. I'm completely mentally deranged and gone. My heart is completely taken. My soul is taken. By who? By the owner. By the creator. By the maker of it. So, understand, there is QA. Q and A. And others said, I and A. I means interrogation. Q, it is I, Q, and A. So I'm ready to take some questions so that the sisters will have time to go home quickly. I'm not going to keep them any longer.
For those who are too shy to speak on the microphone, you can write on a piece of paper and pass to our Sheikh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, Singaporeans, my African brothers and sisters have never seen Singaporean Muslims. So don't just sit down there with a paper. Let you be recorded and we shall show everybody who you are. That's another da'wah. Go ahead. Yes, come on, Your Excellency. Well, can you come over here, sir? You're so handsome. Where can I get your type of outfit to buy? Now you look good.
Thank you. I feel good.
Yes. Wa alaikum salam, sir.
I hope you're in good health and good spirit.
Ameen.
Okay.
All of us together.
When all of us, when we were doing the salah,
Yes, sir.
how come that we couldn't get the feeling, the presence of Allah?
Give me a high five. Come on, come on.
All right.
Come on. Wow. Beautiful. Fantastic.
All right.
What's your name, man?
Mosaic.
Huh?
Mosaic.
Mosaic.
That's right.
Fantastic, man. This is the best question. But not better than your question, but it's most important question. How come that when we perform salah, we don't feel the power, the beauty, the joy of it, and the perception and the purpose of it? But how come that we don't hear? It's because we never understood the meaning of salah. We are taught the rituals. Mr. Moses, we are taught only the rituals. There are many times before I joined the circles of zikr, talk less of becoming an usher or an authority in it. I never could communicate with Allah. I never could understand and perceive my Lord. When I get up to stand up to pray, what I'm looking for is a kind of a big, huge human being with a long beard all the way from the heavens and the earth, sitting down in a big chair beyond everyone's imagination, sitting and looking at me. Yes, boy, Ahmed. When I say Allahu Akbar, that's what I'm looking at. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm afraid he shouldn't stamp his foot on my head out of anger. That's how I was. But I never really understood that until my father used to be in the zikr circle. So son, you're going to have to sit down and understand this and be initiated in the zikr circle. I cannot guide you, I cannot purify you. God is the one who will purify you. And then finally I got into the circles of zikr. And my teacher started training me. And I became so much devoted and dedicated in that spiritual training. And it took me to another level, and to another level, and to another level. But before then, let me tell you what happened to me. One day, for the first time in my life, I never knew what love is about. Are you with me, Sheikh Mosaic? And I hope you understand this. Maybe many of you have gone through similar experiences. I saw a young lady whilst I was preaching, and she came in and she came straight and came and stand right in front. And she was staring at me as if she was going to ask me questions. And she didn't ask me nothing. And she was looking at me straight face ahead. When I finished preaching, she came to me smiling. She said to me, I wish you'd be my husband. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And then I never wanted to talk to no sister. But look at this woman. She just came straight and told me, I wish you'd be my husband. So when she said that, I went home, and that statement was reverberating like thunderclap sounding in the dark valleys. All my brothers used to call me holy because I don't even know how to talk to women. But in fact, in school, my women were my best friends. They treat me so good. I mean, friendly. They feed me free. So if my daddy and mom don't give me no money to go to school, I know I'm all right. I don't have to worry about that. Maybe before I come back home, I got some few, even CDs in my pocket. Because they're so generous, I help them do their artwork and their map works and whatnot. So they like me, and I can sing. In the church and in the assembly hall, I can sing. So they like me, and I can draw so many things. And besides, I am not too bad, I'm not too dumb. I'm a little bit where you can call me a little bit brilliant. And so if you're that, they like you. Now, but I never, ever felt attracted to none of them. Except that one time there were two sisters. One was called Edna Gorman, and one was called Paulina Gorman. I'm telling you about my teenage time. And I was told by my senior brother they loved me. And they fight each other for me. And one day one of them came home that she was coming to study with me. And I said, no sister, I don't want you here. I don't want to see you here at all. So she left with a broken heart weeping. And my stepmother saw her crying and said, why are you crying? I said, I came to study with Ahmed Tijani and he drove me away. My stepmother went to my daddy and told him, go tell your son, he's insane. He's cruel to women. And I've never done that. I've never been cruel. I've been very kind. In fact, I'm the best man who's been very compassionate and honorable to women. I know how to talk to them very nicely. So they like me. Because if I don't talk to them nicely, they won't give me their gifts. And then when I'm hungry, they won't give me no food. So I'm very cautious. And when I come to them, I know how to make them laugh. Whilst other guys are very macho mentality. You know, fine. Then my father says, no, don't mistreat women like that. Be kind to them. When a woman comes to visit you to study, be kind to her. You know, and you were learning, you were holding, you were this. Say, thank you, Daddy. But this woman who told me this, her statement was still baffling me and haunting me. And one day she comes back again. And guess what? I became so attached to her. This is my confession now. I became so attached to her, attracted to her, to the extent that when I went home, I said, wow. If the Shaykh thinks I'm talking about him too. So I said, wow, it is time for me to perform Salatul Isha. And when I raise my hands like this, Allahu Akbar, I could think about nothing but her. Then about Allahu Akbar, then it became so intense that I'm thinking about nothing but her. And then I made sujood, and I'm thinking about nothing but her. Lord have mercy. When I was going to get up for the second rakah, I could not get up. So I said, what is going on? It's because I lack guidance, I lack what? Knowledge. So at that time, my heart became attached to her, and I gave her my heart before even she said to me, I love you. You see that? And it's like, I will give her everything I got. And I'll put my life down to be killed just to let her survive. Why would I do that? I was geared towards hell. Hello? Am I the only person who has gone through this experience? Captain Council? And it's very hard for me to ask Dr. Tahir here. Very hard. Dr. Tahir says, I second that emotion. As for this man, he's almost like that the same way. He doesn't talk to me about nobody but Anuna. You know, Anuna is sick, Anuna is not very good. I got to get Anuna's permission. I got to go. He will not even call me until he gets Anuna's permission. So I think Anuna is in command somewhere. Is Anuna here? I haven't seen her. Now you see, but our heart is for Allah. Our love is for Allah, and that's what Allah says. Now you see the hypocrites, they love others with intense love. With the love that is intended for Allah, they love others with it. And so because of that, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah will bring those that you love so much, put them in front of you. This is what you gave your heart to. Okay, please, I'm going to destroy all of them in front of you. Where is my love? Allah is going to ask about that. And that is why we look for the teachers who will guide us to the right path. And then ever since I was introduced to the path of zikr in late 60s and early 70s, I entered into Tarbiyah, and ever since, my dear brother, I can love the whole human beings of the whole world with the true same love, but never would that meddle with my love and perception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You understand me? So whenever I stand in the salah, since then, there is no time that I really feel very, very good and highly uplifted and inspired until I hear the muazzin call, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. I feel Allah now saying, Ahmed Tijani, come back to me. Come back. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية. Are you, the beloved soul, at rest, comforted now, heart purified, soul purified? Come back! Come back! Come back to your beloved Creator, cherisher, nourisher, and sustainer, full of love. Come back. It's like mama who is yoked to his baby, to her baby, or her boy, little infant, or a child. When mama is calling the baby, you see the baby run joyously back into the arms of who? Mama. And the baby feels secure, wrapped in the hands of who? Mama. Is that right? Hello? This is what we all have experienced. Is that right? But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what makes Moses, Halima, Moses to see, to hear, to feel, to speak, to be conscious, to walk, to think, to do everything. Can you have any love other than that? But then if you come to be conscious of that, then you want to come back to who? The owner of all these things. And you say, La sharika laka, Allahu la sharika laka, Allah, la sharika lahu, Allahu la sharika lahu, Allah. Come on. La sharika lahu, Allahu la sharika lahu, Allah. Come on. La sharika lahu, Allahu la sharika lahu, Allah. There is no love nowhere, no affection, no protection, no refuge, no security, and no fortification than that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the only time you can get that magnitude of security, affection, and feeling yoked to Mama is when you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in salah. And any time, I hope, that is what I think. And so now I've come to a point where I hardly lose my consciousness in my salah to think about anything in the world other than Allah. When I start all the time, and I'm afraid to lead prayer, I don't want to lead prayer. But whenever they tell me, and I feel it is substantially compelling to do so, when I stand in front, I feel my heart is shaking. I'm unworthy to stand and feel people are behind me in the presence of Allah. I just want to feel I'm a hopeless, helpless, useless, worthless, good for nothing compared to nothing, standing before Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is that clear? So there is a way to get that, to understand that. If you find time, we talk into details about that. I'm still worried and concerned. I don't want the system to stay any longer because they're going to get some work back home. So, is that clear? And there's a way you go through the zikr circles and you are trained to attain that level. Brother Adnan, please come over. Sisters, I want to take a question, one or two questions from the sisters. Hello? Or write it down. Can you speak over them? Yeah, you ask somebody.
Yeah, there's one question. Sisters asking, Can husband and wife have different spiritual paths?
Please sit there and then I take this question. The sister asks, can what?
Can a husband and wife have different spiritual paths?
No husband can be compelled to take a sister's way of tariqah, and no sister can be compelled to take a man's way of tariqah. When it comes to Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you have every right to choose to be a Muslim against the will of your father and mother. Is that right? And when it comes to duty to marriage, no woman has any right to go out to do anything, to go anywhere without the permission and acknowledgement of her husband. That is the Islamic rules, God's rules. But when it comes to her going to seek for education for herself, she does not need the permission of her husband. And when it comes to the rules of spiritual inclinations, if she wants to learn about her religion, go to the mosque to learn about her religion and come back to her marital roots umbrella, she has every right to choose what mazhab. Are you with me? She has every right to choose what mazhab, school of thought she wants, not necessarily her husband's school of thought. It's her personal prerogative and so right to choose her own mazhab. And likewise, when it comes to a path of walking towards Allah, she does not need the permission of her husband, and neither does the husband need her permission, because the husband is not God. He is her husband. But when it comes to a matter, a question about God and His messenger, or her life, what her life is going to be between her and her Creator, then she does not need the permission of her husband, because her husband does not hold her destiny between her and her Creator. Not even her father can tell her where to go. Not even her mother can tell her where to go as far as her spiritual need and obligation is concerned. Is that clear? Hello?
Yeah.
If you need more elaboration, I will give it to you. However, we are asked, the sisters should be in obedience and honor their husbands, but they should not accept their husbands to abuse them, because the law says they should honor and respect their husband. No way. There are some men who take advantage of that and beat the hell and abuse and disrespect and dishonor and denigrate and humiliate their wives. Those men don't deserve those women. So, if we are like those men, we should start to change our attitude, our behavior towards our wives. We are supposed to treat them with utmost respect, honor, love, affection, and tenderness. We should learn how to say to her, honey, I love you. If you don't know how to say honey, you can tell her later, I love you. Always uttering these words of affection improves your relationship. But don't just call her later. I need you to just come and sit down right here. I don't have time. No. We are supposed to treat each other with dignity. And Allah tells us in the whole Quran, even in the hadith of Rasulullah says, I'm the best of all men and I'm the best of all men who treat their women best and better. Is that right? How many men here do say, I love you to their wives? Please don't be scared. I got a gift for you. Allahu Akbar. Takbir! I've got only one man who says, I love you, honey. So what do you really tell your wife to tell her how you love her? I'm sorry, I never did that. and you feel your ego comes to bear, you need to tell her I love her. No, she should rather tell me she loves me. Sisters, how many sisters here tell her husband, honey, I love you? Even if you don't use honey. Just a crazy man, I love you. How many of you say that? I don't think, oh, I see one hand. Oh, two hands. Allahu Akbar. 3, 4, 5. About 200 sisters here, and only 5 say, honey, I love you. Huh?
The rest are single.
Oh, they're single? Allah, thank you very much. Oh, Allah. They are single. Brother Admain, please register their name for me. Oh, why? You feel good? Huh? I never knew that there are single women here in Singapore. But I don't think they like chocolate men. But they love to eat chocolate. Sister Suhana. Yeah, Suhana loves to give me chocolate to eat. Anytime I come home, she will ask me, do you love chocolate? I say, yes, mom. The last time I was there, she wanted to give me chocolate, but I was having some stomach cramps. So, oh, poor woman, she doesn't know what I'm going through. I just need some hot tea. Yes. Sister Suhana, thank you for your hospitality. You are beautiful, loving, kind. And sisters, I want you to listen to this. I think all of you are like her, or maybe better than her. But, to conclude, Nabi Ibrahim, alayhi salatu wasalam, came one day to the house of his son Ismail and said, Salaam alaikum to the house. And this woman comes up. Yes. What do you want? Old beggar. What do you want? Said, oh, I just want to know if your husband is home. He's not home. He's gone out. You nosy. Sister, do you have some food? So we don't have no food. If you want some bones, we have some bones. I give you, but I don't even have time to talk to you. Would you please leave? Thank you. Sister, please, could you tell your husband when he comes that the threshold of his door is broken and that he should change it? Look at this old man telling me this. So she banged the door. BAM! And another while comes Nabi Ismail. You know Nabi Ismail, right? It is because of him we go to Mecca. And we drink the water of Zamzam. Do you know that? Yes. Hello? Yes. Okay. Now, he comes to the house. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. My dear, did anyone come after me? Say, yeah, nobody came. But some wretched old man came very nosy. He said to me that if we have any food, and I told him, we don't have nothing but bones. And he asked me, he told me to tell you that the threshold of your door, I don't even know what is wrong with it, that the threshold of your door is broken and that you should change it. Said, my beloved wife, you know, that is my father, the friend of Allah. The threshold of the door that he said is broken and that I should change it is you. So, salam alaikum. I obey his command immediately because he is a friend of Allah. And he asked me if we have food, but I told him we don't have no food, but we got bones. And truly she means we got bones. But you don't have to expose all of these outside. Being nice to people. You don't know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself will come to your door. And so, Salaam alaikum, Umar, she has packed all your things. Even everything I have of me, you can take it all. Go! You are the door. And then, a little while, he's been married to another wife again. And then, one day, Abraham came visiting again, and this one said, oh, Assalamu alaikum, assalam. He wants to turn around. She said, old man, please, can I have this? Offer you some food or water to drink? And then Ibrahim said, do you have enough food to eat? And she said, yes, we have. Do you have some meat? He said, yes. Although she knew, understand that they don't have much food to eat. But she has to protect who? The back of who? Her husband. So she said, oh, we have food. Don't worry, you can come and eat. He said, no, it's all right. And he knows, and Nabi Ibrahim knows that there is not much food. So here, he goes away. And then, before he goes away, he said to the woman, please, woman, when your husband comes, please tell him that the threshold of his door is very good one and that he should keep it. And then Anabi Ishmael comes home. Anybody comes, visit me, says, a very old man comes here. At that time, Anabi Ibrahim could even see to a point where he was over 200 years. Hello? He was over 200 years, to the extent that sometimes when he wants to put food in his mouth, it's very tough. Hello? Yeah. He will pick it up, and like my hands, you see, it's tough. And then here he goes, tell that man this. When Nabi Ishmael came, she told him, said, honey, I love you. You are the threshold of the door. That old man is my daddy. That old wretched looking man is my daddy. And he says, you are very good and you could protect me and my weakness and my shortcomings. So sisters, there is no home so dignified without you. If the house is dignified, it's because of you. If the house is seen with spiritual beauty, it's because of you. If the house feels comfortable and hospitable, it's because of you. And that makes example of Nana Khadija. Nana Khadija is like that. She came to the point, she used to be very wealthy. She used all her wealth for her husband. She didn't have no money. And Rasulullah sometimes didn't have no money. To the extent that he has to tie his stomach with what? Rocks to keep him steady. But Nana Khadija never exposed him. And Nana Khadija will never give you the chance to see what is going on. So may Allah bless our sisters to be like that. Those of you who are single, please don't tell nobody, no one that you are single. I will let Ajma'in, I don't want you to be taken. But there are very beautiful men, including myself, who might be writing an application. We will write an application. Just give your contact line and I'll write my application. And when you see the application come and it reads like this, I love you 99.99%. All I need is just to put your 1/4% and I'm all right. Hello? So those of you who are single, be quiet. Don't show yourself no more. Nobody has seen you. You know that? Hello? You gonna get it? Sister, where is sister? Your wife. I know now. I need those contacts for me to fill in my application. How many men are here? I'm the number one who's going to start filling application. How many of you are here? Just raise your hands. How many men? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. Hello. I like your smile, and everybody will like your smile. You want to fill the application? You gotta come with me. The application will be filled through me. But I decide which one is good to be presented. Hello? Somebody asked me, how many can I have? Here, if that's it, none. You're only entitled to one. But if you want to have anything, don't come to me. I don't want to see you. Okay. Alhamdulillah. I think I want to do something. Where's Adnan? Please, come on. I want us to write his contact number. Can you stand? I want to do this. You know, Brother Adnan, looking back your life since you were born. Come on, here. And all that you've lost of me that now never recall. Anytime hasty faded, so struggle to be patient and loving until your time is come. You don't want to do a thing in haste. No speak a word in rage. No need to be in haste. Adnan, just be happy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Adnan, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And your sweetheart sugar honey bun, they call her Selena. Said we should tell you, you are her honey sugar darling. Congratulations for your birthday. I can see your baby Muhammad Ali coming to help me say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Give him a big round of applause. May Almighty God, Allah, our Creator, cherisher, nourisher, the sustainer of the whole universe continue to protect you, guide you and exalt you, fortify you and your beloved wife and family, and give you guidance, hidayah, on the struggle mustaqim until we all meet him all together. Amen. May Allah's everlasting peace, love, equanimity and tranquility forever and ever be with you. May Allah fortify you against all afflictions, obstacles, and misfortunes of this life. And may He grant you security against all envious hearts and jealous minds. May Allah bless you and give you happy birthday and many long life to live. Our Reverend in Surat al-Mustaqim. May Allah bless Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, your daddy calling you. Hello? Yeah! Alright. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Let's recite Fatiha, or one Fatiha and Salat al-Fatiha for him. Come on, all together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراط المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره الدار العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. The last question, what is it? Oh boy, some men are angry. How nowadays teens in this modern somebody come and help me because this is written in Singaporean English. Yes. Read it. I'm waiting for the final question. Oh, don't go, sir. Hello? It's about you. What is your name? Huh? It is right there. You can see. You want to go to the men's? You want to go to the men's? Huh? Or to take some air? Just open the door a little bit. You're going to get a bigger pressure. You don't need that much.
How nowadays in this modern sinful era to be engaged and triggered by Islam?
To be engaged in what?
To be engaged and triggered by Islam. Okay, that one is.
How can they be engaged in Islam? Go ahead. Is that all? With all this writing? I'm not sure the name of.
The second one is how to be istiqamah in practicing Islam.
Istiqamah in practicing Islam. And there's another one down there. How to be istiqamah in the. That man can write intellectual English. Practicity Islam. That's practical Islam. And his name is Tan Habibi. Where's Habibi? Oh, okay, here we go. Assalamu alaikum. It is not easy to tell teenagers these days who are confronted with internet and telephone that can go to Facebook, Hardbook, Notebook, iBook, and so many movies and games to tell them to focus on Islam. It is very, very tough. Unless you have a home, an environment in your house where you make sure that every hardware you have in the computer must be about Islam. And even then, they will have a way out to reach out certain things you don't want them to see. And then the public televisions also, the cables, also expose them to certain things that distract them. But nevertheless, let them have, when they go to the contemporary schools, take them also to the Muslim madrasas over the weekend. And whenever they come home, make sure that you have some Islamic teacher who comes to teach them, or you go to the Muslim teacher to teach them, with them to all together to learn. Don't let them be learning all by themselves. Join them to learn. And I think also the sisters are the greatest teachers. They can preach to even a Maulana and turn his heart around. If we give the sisters more knowledge, I think we will have a better Islamic society. But if we don't let the sisters come to the masajid and listen to the khutbahs and listen to the information and the guidance, then it's going to be hard, because Captain Qasim is always on the sea. Dr. Tahir is always in the hospital. Khalid Al-Mahim is always hovering around like a businessman should do. So now, who will be taking care and paying attention to the children and giving them the kind of attention they need as teenagers? And now they have the walkie-talkie. You don't know what they're listening to. You come and having some Islamic program in the house, and they got one ear walkie-talkie holding the phone. It's no more a phone. It's full of fantastic, how do they call it? Rap music, pop music, funky music, reggae music. And they coming in and they walk talking to each other and singing. You don't know what they're dancing. Oh, what you doing? I'm listening to Nasheed, Daddy. But what is going on in the ears? Get up, stand up. Stand up, boy, you're right. When the key, when they say that immediately, can I arrest him immediately? Say, just raise your hands up. Then he raised his hands up. Say, okay, or her hands up. So just give me that thing to listen. But if you don't tell them raise your hands up, they will just press, how do you call it? That telephone, like this. Just press something, and then the music is gone. So it's accident. Or they could pull the wire out. I have been a teenager. Haven't you been a teenager? Hello? Yes. Don't you know the tricks? Hello, Rafiq? Don't you know the tricks? Yeah, we all sisters. I feel shy talking to the sisters like that because they are very, very serious. And the sisters have been more religious than the boys. Is that right? Hello? The sisters like that. Because as for the brothers, you are free. You can go out wearing your shirt and just a pant. Nobody will know whether you're a Muslim or you're not a Muslim. Is that right? Look at the brother, come on. Here. Yeah, come on. Yes, you come on. Give him a big round of applause. Now, when you see a brother like that, dressed like this, and going outside, without saying to you, Assalamu alaikum, would you think he's a Muslim? Hello? In many cases. If you see him among the Muslims, among the non-Muslims, would you be able to recognize it? Hello? No. Unless he has a kufi, right? But as for the sisters, they are compelled to put on their veil anywhere they go. Is that right? Yes. That's their identity. I think sometimes, as the Quran says, the sisters are also allowed to go around the shores and whatnot to hang their scarf up and feel the fresh air, like my dear brother wanted to have the fresh air all by himself. Because he feels, right here, the masjid is full of warm air, that he needs a fresh one. How about the day that comes, and then they wrap me up with my final best wedding dress. Hello? It is two. My final wedding dress is two. They wrap me up from the top to the down and wrap me one around my waist, and they pick me up. That time my body will not be moving. It is sticky and straight. Is that right? And they will put me in that big hole. Now how am I going to get the fresh hair? Hello? Show me how to get the fresh air. And they put on the boards, and they brought moss, dust, and put it on. And my daddy or mom or sister or wife or brother or friend will say, let's go put a very big concrete slab on him and write on it, oh Tijani, rest in peace. For you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. How am I going to get air? Don't I need air? And that I'm going to be waking up physically. And as soon as I wanted to get up, then my head will hit the board which was covered on me. That's me and you. And we'll realize that we are dead. What are we going to do? So, let us start being serious. How many teenagers are here? Boys. Among the boys, teenagers, raise your hand. The teenager means any time from teen, 8, 9, 10, or from 10 is teens. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hello? Raise your hands up. To 18. I think I'm one of them. Okay, fantastic. Sisters, the teens, they don't feel shy. Teens. I got a big teen here. Hello, teens, don't feel shy. Raise your hands up. Allah bless you. May Allah protect you from all satanic influences. Alhamdulillahi hamdan. You are fi ni'am ain في نعم. I repeat, الحمد لله حمدا يؤافي نعم. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله. عبده ورسوله. شهادة المبرع. شهادة المبرع. شهادة المبرع من الشق شق the Q شق من الشق والهم Oh, I messed up, right? وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله. Right that. وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد العرب. Oh, sorry. Let me start all over. أفضل الأمم. That's how it ends. أفضل الأمم. Now I start from the beginning. الحمد لله حمدا يؤافي نعم. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. شهادة المبرعة من الشق والحمد. شهادة المبرعة من الشق والحمد. وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد العرب والعجم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أفضل الأمم. Because he says the prayer so much, she did not forget what he says. And he says the prayer this way. After he performed the rak'ahs, he would say, Alhamdulillahi hamdan yu'afi ni'am. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن سيدنا وحده لا شريك له. شهادة مبرعة من الشرك والهم. وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد العرب والعجم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أفضل الأمم.